This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SeatGeek Shoot-Around, or the Shoot-Around presented by SeatGeek. Use the code NBK and get $20 off of your first purchase from SeatGeek. So go get those New York Knicks tickets from SeatGeek, ladies and gentlemen, and you get a nice discount. We're going to break this one down. It's me and my boy Andy here at the moment. And it's going to be a super short shoot-around. You know, one of the things we're going to talk about is the New York Knicks defense back. You're probably looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm asking the question anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Is the defense back? Andy, what's poppin' with you, my man? How you feeling? Did you get a chance to see the game?
Yeah. What up, Sim? What up to the chat? Listen, I finished up the game. I'm happy I made it for the show. I know that it's going to be a short one. I'm happy we got the W. I'm happy we saw adjustment from Tibbs, game to game versus the same opponent. Mm-hmm. We saw Randall on Turner, which was able, to go out further, closer to the three-point line, avoiding at least the amount of shots from Turner, from three. And we saw, our centers covering Sabonis. And, he had more points than in the first game. But then again, I think they used them way more on the ball, off the ball, whatever. And happy we had Taj there because, I think Mitch got banged up, and he didn't return to the game. But Taj played an awesome defensive game. And we see that, some players actually can play only on one side of the ball and be effective.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, Taj was a plus 22 last night. A plus 22 after Mitch went down, with a sore ankle. Nerlens Noel not playing. Taj Gibson stepped in and did what only Taj Gibson can do. Father time Taj Gibson is, man. But just to let you know, and we'll listen to Tom Thibodeau a little bit later, Mitchell Robinson will play tomorrow night versus the Orlando Magic, and Nerlens Noel is going to be out once again versus the Orlando Magic. So Taj is going to have to step in and step up once again because Tom Thibodeau is not going to use Jericho Sims. We know that. It's not going to use him. But the Knicks defense last night, Andy, the Knicks defense last night was reminiscent of last season. They played tough. They played hard nose. They gave up a lot of three-point shots. But the opposing team didn't shoot the three-pointer well. All right? Now, I don't know if it was just because it's the Pacers and they're struggling a bit as well, or if that those 2 days off allowed the Knicks to look at their defense, make some adjustments, allow Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff to really look at their player personnel and make some decisions based on their player personnel. Because when you look at the closing unit last night, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, and then Taj Gibson was out there. Normally, it would probably be either Nerlens Noel or Mitchell Robinson that's out there. So, Andy, I'm going to bring some stats across, and then I want to get your idea, your thought process on it. Is the Knicks defense back, or was it fool's gold, or is it just too early to tell? And am I jumping the gun? Okay. So, last night, the Knicks defensive rating was 93.3. Last night, they gave up 84 points. The Pacers shot 37.2% from the field. They shot 21.6% from the three-point line. The Knicks only gave up 16 assists. They only gave up 9 offensive rebounds. Only 8 second chance points for the Indiana Pacers. 0 fast break points last night for the Indiana Pacers. The Knicks are normally giving up about 12 fast break points per game. For the season, the Knicks' defensive rating is 108.7. The opponent's points per game is 107.4. They're allowing teams to shoot 43%, which isn't bad. They're allowing teams to shoot 36% from the three-point line, which is getting better than it was earlier. A couple games ago, it was 37.8% or something crazy like that. The Knicks are allowing 24.9 assists per game on the season. They're allowing 10.7 rebounds and 12.2 second chance points is what they're allowing so far. But versus the Pacers, the Knicks defense was just that much better. So I ask you, Andy, does this mean anything? Is the Knicks defense back? Has Tom Thibodeau found the right rotation of guys that's going to play defense consistently and down the stretch? Or, we just don't know yet.
Sim, there's no other way to put it. It's only one game. It's only one game, and I'm not gonna lie, Sim, that on the defensive end, except Taj standing out, the other guy on the other side was IQ standing out on the offensive end. He was basically 100% from three till late in the fourth quarter. I think he might have missed only one shot, or he might have be shooting 100%. And I think it's not a clear cut that we won that game only by defense. I think those timely shots from Quickly definitely helped us. So it's not like no matter how much we scored, we would still get the W. I think Quickly and timely shots from D-Rose, not to mention RJ Barrett's breakout last three-pointers made sticked it to the Pacers, and we could have ride off to the sunset with the W. So I'm not putting it all thanks to the defense, but a compilation of defense and offense let us avoid another upset here.
Okay, but the Knicks did get some timely stops.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they made some timely shots and they got some timely stops last night. One play in particular I really liked. I think it was Alec Burks who was guarding Malcolm Brogdon, and he locked him up. Brogdon couldn't go anywhere, right? Yeah. And I was like, wow, we haven't seen this type of defense in a long time from this team. I don't know if it was because, they seen that they were in the game and they could win it, so they were just energized, or because Tom Thibodeau lit into them over the weekend.
Yes, and Tibbs just, sat down Burks after that possession. And I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, I was thinking that, maybe when I was watching on League Pass, maybe I just touched the pad somewhere and it, ran, a couple of minutes back or forth. And I was like, this can't be possible. He made such a great defensive effort, effort on Brogdon. Right. And he's out the next possession. I was like, I gotta rewind it.
Yeah.
To see if something else
that's
happened,
tips. So. That's tips for you. That's tips for you. But
yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, so I ask you all in the chat, is the defense back or is it too early to tell? Is it just one game and I need to calm down and relax? See, Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like you said, listen, we had 2 days off. I'm not blaming this on players being tired because it's 10 games into the season. Mm-hmm. But it really looked like we had a little bit more energy. We played with way more effort on defense. Right. Listen, when I saw Randall, and he was playing the whole 30 couple of minutes he was on the court, he was running like someone, put Bengay on his shorts, man. He was running so fast. I was like, he's running from someone or listen, just going to the offense. He just took the ball and ran with it like his life depended on it. So I was thinking, what's this guy up to, right? But listen, maybe it was the energy, maybe it was something else. Maybe he just tried to lead by example, and at least a couple of guys followed on a couple of positions, and that made the difference.
Well, Tom Thibodeau talked about it last night in the post-game press conference. He talked about Randall and his effort and his energy, and that he thought it was just, great last night. And I think there probably was a talking to say, hey, the team is going to go as you go when we're talking about energy. When you drop your head, when you drop your shoulders, when you pout a little bit, the team is going to look at you and maybe they're going to be a little bit upset, right? Because now you're doing those things. You've got to lead by example, and that has to start not with scoring, but with energy and defense. So hopefully, the message gets across to the team. And basically what I'm trying to do here, Andy, is I'm trying to jump the gun. Because I'm anticipating that over the next 3 games, the Knicks are going to play some good defense. And then a bunch of people are going to come out and say, is the Knicks defense back? And I want to jump the gun. So I'm jumping the gun. That's what I'm doing. I'm jumping the gun. I'm getting it out there before everybody. Let me get to a phone call, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about the Knicks defense. And why, Andy, you think the Knicks played better defense last night? Is it some of the adjustments that Tom Thibodeau made from the previous time we played the Pacers? Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, Sim, how's it going? This is Reg out the BX. How's it going? You and Andy, how you guys doing?
Going pretty good, man. How you feeling? How you feeling today,
What
Reg?
up?
You're a little bit low. You're a little bit low, Reg.
Am I a little low?
Yeah,
Okay, how do I sound now?
much better.
All right, thanks. All right, I just wanted to actually touch on just maybe two things real quick. I heard you asking about the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something new, or if it's just one game, or? I think it's one game, but I do see the potential for it to be a turnaround for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's kind of broad, but the only reason why I say something like that is because we've been inconsistent all year. So we can have a great outing, and then we come back, and next thing you know, we stink it up, and then we have to get back to the drawing board. I liked what I saw last night. I like the adjustments what Tibbs made. I like the fact that he did rely on who he knows that can play defense down the stretch.
Right.
I know that he wanted to try to give Kemba an opportunity. I know he wants to give Evan an opportunity. But at the end of the day, he's pretty much trying to get the ball rolling, and he's looking at it like, well, listen, let me allow these guys to go ahead and contribute in the game. And if they're rolling, then I may be able to continue to go with them, but I like to go with what I know.
Right.
And I think Alec Burks stepped up. He looked good on defense, and to be honest with you, he kind of surprised me on the defensive end. So I'm happy about that, because we know Alec Burks is a fourth quarter player.
Yeah.
He went with RJ and D Rose and quickly. So I think he's gonna probably stick with that until Kemba Evans start to show something different on the defensive side.
Right.
So I think it could be a change because he's doing something different, and that change could actually turn into something to be consistent. But I like to see them do it maybe over the course of the next 5 games, where they're consistently playing as hard and they're consistently staying that focused on that end.
Right.
But there's a question I wanted to ask you guys in regards to Julius Randle,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna let you go. I always get on Julius Randle, not because I don't like Julius Randle, just because I know how talented he is. But what bothers me is that his game went from one way, where he was a more aggressive inside player. He used his quickness, he used his strength, and he was able to get his 20 and 10 that way. Then it changed to last year, where he was an outside player, where he used a lot of jump shots, a lot of three-point attempts, and also tried to take it off the dribble. My thing is this with Julius Randle. do you think Julius Randle is keeping Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier from succeeding because of his play style? Or, because I don't see a problem with Kemba. I don't see a problem with Fournier. I see the problem with Randle. And it's not that he's bad. It's just that he has to adjust his game. Because I feel like the way he's playing is not allowing Kemba to play his game, and it's not allowing Evan Fournier to play his game. As you see, I remember the other episode, and I agreed with you 100%. You said Julius would come down the court, pushing the ball real fast, passes to somebody, and sprint right to them after he passed it to them to set a pick, and now everything is kind of cluttered and congested, and he's looking crazy and wild. And I'm screaming at the TV like, man, slow down. He's killing me with that.
Yeah.
But he's not allowing Kemba to play his game with the pick and roll, to be kind of smooth, cerebral with his game. Because Kemba's a mid-range player, floater guy. Yeah, he can get to the rim, but he can do all those things. But when Julius is playing so close to him or pass it, the next thing you know, he's clapping like, give it back. That's taking Kemba out of his rhythm. It's not allowing him to establish himself. And that's the same thing as Fournier. Fournier is not used to somebody taking the ball, setting a pick, run around, quick pass to him, expect him to pull it up, pull a shot real fast. Fournier, you like to get the ball and play off the pick and roll a little bit, get in the mid-range and all that.
Right.
So I think if Julius Randle allows them to set their game and get a rhythm early in the game like he's been doing the last couple of games, Fournier play his game, Kemba play his game, let them get comfortable, then Julius comes around, I think that's where we're going to be straight to the moon with it.
Okay. And
I believe that.
Yeah, and it could just be those guys still having to get used to the way each other plays.
Exactly.
Kemba and Fournier played a little bit together. Julius Randle's never played with either one of those guys. They've never played with Randle. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, Reggie Bullock, he probably got used to Randle throwing the ball out to him and then charging at him. So he knew, all right, let me sit still until he gets himself together, and then I'll make a move. You know what I'm saying? Where Kemba and Fournier, they might get a little scared, like, oh my God, what is he doing? You know what I mean?
Why are you over here? Why
you charging
Why are you
me?
passing the ball and running over here so fast? What's going on?
Yeah, so, and then maybe when they get used to it, then they'll understand, and I talk about it all the time. Players understanding each other's nuances and what each other, and their tendencies, and how that it really does impact the game. So, hopefully as time goes on, they get to know each other and what each other does, and then they learn how to play off of one another. We'll see how that works. And then, of course, I do see that there's a little bit of a chemistry issue between Kemba and Randle. Just not that they're fighting or battling each other, but both guys are used to being a facilitator, kind of. And so I think they're trying to figure out that balance between the two.
I agree. And I'm going to just say this. A lot of people keep saying, oh, maybe we should take Kemba out the starting lineup. Maybe we need to sit Kemba on the bench. I just think that they just need to let Kemba play his game. And once Kemba get comfortable with playing his game, as you've seen since Charlotte, even in the beginning of the season, if you let Kemba play his game, then Kemba's going to get you 18, 19 quick points. Yeah. But if you have Kemba just a three-point shooter where he can be on and off, and he's just standing there waiting for the pass to come back, and Julius is controlling the ball and the action, I think that's taking him out of his game, the same thing as Fournier is taking out of Fournier's game. Yeah. I say let them play their game in the beginning of the game, let them get rhythm, let them get comfortable, and you'll see how easy their points are going to come. And then Julius, now you come in there, you be the offensive rebounder, you be the roll man when it's a pick, you be the pick and pop guy, and then you establish a rhythm off easy points. Then you can start doing your ISO a couple of times, not all the time, but a couple of times, and then next thing you know, he'll be with his 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah. But I think if he just keep forcing it, that's where they having that problem. He's not allowing everybody to get their rhythm, establish that what they're used to doing, and then he comes in and does his thing. He wants to try to be the controller, and I think that's what's throwing the whole thing off. So once he really starts to understand that aspect of it, I think we to the moon. To be honest with you, I
All
think
right.
there will
And
be
you know,
no more issues.
it may take a little while. When you look at the bench last year, the bench, you know, they were up and down last year when Rose came. Sometimes good, sometimes not. You know,
Right,
but
right.
now this year they're clicking on all cylinders. But look how many games they've had together. We're talking about a
Exactly.
group
They had
that's,
almost 2
you know,
years.
had 14 games together. So we may not see their true potential until the end of the season. Talking about that starting unit. You never know.
That's a long time.
That's a long
New York
time.
ain't about to
That's a
take
long
no-
time.
New York ain't about to fall back for almost the whole season. Kemba gonna be gone. Evan gonna be on the trading block. Julius is gonna be getting ran out of town.
We'll see what happens.
Ooh, Sam.
I know. But you know, it takes time. It takes, you know,
It takes a lot of time.
It takes time. But hey, I appreciate your call, Reg. Thank you for your time.
All right, man. You take care of yourself. Keep doing what you're doing. Y'all
Take care. Appreciate you. Yeah, it takes time, ladies and gentlemen. So, Andy, back to talking about the defense a little bit. What did you see last night? Did the Knicks do anything last night that you think helped them play the type of defense they did last night?
Yes, like I said in the opening, words, I think adjustments made by Thibs, just like the ones with the matchups between the, power forward and center positions, our centers were guarding, Sabonis, and Randall was basically guarding Turner. I'm not gonna go deeper when the bench guys came in, but at least versus Turner and Sabonis, we were we had that switched up, so Randall wasn't bothered with Sabonis most of the time. He had a easier way as far as I see it versus Turner, because Turner, if he was outside looking for a shot, Randall didn't have to go that way, that far away from the key. They also didn't, I think they didn't, go to Turner that much this game. And I don't think it was because of Randall's perfect defense. I just think, they tried to go another way, more through Sabonis than to Turner. I think even the Pacers as a whole team and players, I think they didn't believe in Turner in that way, that he can have a game like 7 out of 10 for 3. So I think, that was one thing also.
Yeah.
There were adjustments, but I also think, those key stops from Taj, those were really things that bothered, their whole offense. Brogdon was doing actually pretty good on their offense. I didn't see many adjustments. We threw several defenders versus him, and the plays that's going to stick out for the Knicks fans is going to be that Bergson in fourth quarter stop that he really didn't get, and didn't give Brogdon any room to go into the paint and stuff like that. So that was great, but that was only a couple of plays. The rest of the plays, Brogdon basically, was leading that Pacers offense. But listen, any adjustments that Thibs made and gave us a W, I'm happy with.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm asking the question about the Knicks defense is because I feel like Tom Thibodeau maybe found something that he likes, especially down the stretch, down the end of games. And I'm expecting him to go with Quickly and Rose over Kemba and Fournier down the end of games. I'm expecting that rotation now. I don't think he trusts Evan Fournier's defense. I don't know if he's given him enough time, and maybe he just needs to get used to him, but I don't think he trusts his defense, and he definitely is not trusting Kemba Walker's defense, because Kemba Walker was playing well, and he still chose to go with Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly down the end of the game, and I think he's going to stick with that lineup, and I think it's going to help. Let's say this. That's going to be his go-to lineup, I think.
Yeah, and Sim, just to add on this, listen, he didn't, RJ didn't play well this game till he inserted him in that fourth quarter. And I was like, listen, Bergs just had that great stop. He was taking and making threes. So he was having a good game, and he inserted RJ when we were down, and that happened when we were down, actually.
Yeah.
It's not like we went up, by 5, and then he like, okay, I'm going to see if RJ can break out of the slump. We were down by, I think, 5 or at least 3 when he inserted that lineup you were talking about, those last 5 guys. And Sim, only with this lineup, I might, argue if Taj is going to be, like every game there, if Netherlands is going to be, healthy. I think Netherlands might swap, a couple of those minutes from Taj.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be like the last game of the season or, like a pivotal game of a series, I think definitely it's going to be for Taj, not for Netherlands.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Shoot Around presented by the SeatGeek. Use the code NBK and get $20 off of your first purchase. You can find that link in the description of this video. So make sure you go get your Knicks tickets from SeatGeek, ladies and gentlemen. A couple things I want to point out in the chat before we move on to some other things. I see Jay Williams. He's a little bit mad that we're talking about Julius Randle. He says, our best player stopping other professionals from hitting open shots? No other team's fans do this. I don't think it's about Julius Randle stopping them from hitting open shots. I think it's more about the chemistry of the players. You know what I mean? And now, I will say, I do think Julius Randle has really been trying to get other people involved. He didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter. Well, he took one shot in the fourth quarter last night because he had to. Other than that, he barely shot the ball. Well, I don't want to say barely shot the ball. He didn't shoot the ball in the fourth quarter. He was looking to find other people and get them involved. Have no qualms with saying that. Sam Holt said Julius Randle is the only player in the NBA who's getting booed off the court in the third with a double-double. Fair weather Knicks fans. I don't think it's Julius Randle that they're booing. I think it was just a play of the Knicks in the third quarter. The Knicks went down 12 in the third quarter. Knicks fans are tired of seeing their team come out after halftime and lay an egg. I don't think it was about Julius Randle. I think it was about the team playing bad in the third quarter. That's the way I see it. You could see something different, but that's the way that I'm seeing it. And Jay Williams said, I've watched these players with wide open shots, not knocking them down. Well, I read it all wrong. I've watched these players wide open, not knocking down shots. Whose fault is that? I agree with you. I've seen them wide open and miss shots, and I've seen them have some good shots. Again, I think it has to do with that group just not having the chemistry and working hard and thinking. And when you're thinking about the basketball game instead of reacting, nothing comes easy. Even a wide open shot becomes a little bit difficult because you're laboring so much. And I really think it has to do with that. I'm more concerned about the defensive side of the ball. The offense will come. The defensive side of the ball is where I'm concerned. Because, just to troll the chat, Andy, since these guys are, getting on us about talking about Julius Randle, I'm going to troll the chat. Elfrid Payton has a 106.7 defensive rating this year. What does Kemba have? Just saying. I mean, he does, though. He's coming to town in a couple of days with Phoenix. And I'm pretty sure, I wonder what that reception is going to be like when he gets in the game. You think they're going to boo Elfrid Payton?
Maybe not boo, but he ain't getting that, I'm coming home song.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting one. My player of the game last night. I'm pretty sure you guys probably have the same player of the game last night. Player of the game, Emmanuel Quickly. Came up with some big shots last night in the fourth quarter. He was hooping, man. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal. He shot 55.6% from the field. He was 100% from the three-point line. And he hit some monster shots, ladies and gentlemen. Monster shots that propelled the Knicks to victory. You agree with that, Andy?
Yeah, I gotta agree, Sim. Like I said, he lit up the whole Knicks offense. When we couldn't make a basket, he made one. He made the second one. When we had to throw that recovery punch just to have a breather, he made that shot. So those were timely hoops from IQ. I'm not gonna lie, I was proud of him. This game.
Yeah, he played well, and his energy.
Yeah,
When you see IQ hit a shot, and he's telling the crowd to stand up, and he's screaming to the crowd like people love that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? People love it. His energy is needed out there, and he's becoming a better defender as well. Tom Thibodeau talked about him last night and said, sometimes we got to reel him in. You know what I mean? But I think he'll take it from IQ. I think he'll take it from him. As a matter of fact, last night he talked about he's wanted IQ for a long time, even before he became the coach of the Knicks. Yeah, he said one of his assistant coaches, I forgot who he said that he brought him to his attention. He wasn't the coach of the Knicks. He brought him to his attention. And Tom Thibodeau called World Wide West, said, hey, I want to learn some more about this guy. Right? And Tom, he didn't even know he was going to be with the Knicks, apparently. But he was watching them since then. And so it seems like any place that IQ went, any place that Tom Thibodeau went, IQ was probably going to be in the mix. They were going to find a way to get this guy. So, when people start talking about Deuce McBride or whoever needs to play over IQ, not so fast. This might be Tom Thibodeau's boy.
definitely, Sim. Definitely.
Yeah, that's Tom Thibodeau's boy. My play of the game last night is from IQ, ladies and gentlemen. With 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Knicks down 3 points, 74-71. IQ raises up and knocks down a huge three that tied the game for the Knicks. And the Knicks never looked back after that, ladies and gentlemen. That was a monster 3-point shot from IQ. He hit a couple other shots, one in the corner from the assist from Julius Randle. That was a big shot. And, he's becoming known for those big shots. He's not afraid to take them, and he'll make them. So,
Yeah.
Big shout out to Emmanuel Quickly, man. He had a rough start to the season, but he's starting to find his confidence and find his rhythm, and he's playing some good basketball. Andy, can Emmanuel Quickly be that big shot maker for the New York Knicks?
Sim, listen, if he's going to be making those shots, he definitely can. And some fans are going to say that, the first half is just having the balls just to take those shots. So it might be really, half of the success already in the confidence of Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, and his energy, man, the way he, raises his hands to the crowd, he's jumping around the court. People love it, and it keeps the team energized. And I think it's part of the reason why Tom Thibodeau is going to like this guy in that fourth quarter rotation. Just the energy that he brings. There's going to be nights when he's erratic, and Tom Thibodeau is going to have to pull him out. No doubt about it, but I think he'd like to see him out there. And my second play of the night is Obi Toppin, ladies and gentlemen. Monster dunk from Obi Toppin on Gogo Bitadze. Hopefully I said his name correctly. You know what I mean? You see him go baseline off the pass from Rose and just cock it back. And Obi Toppin knew exactly what he did because he made that ugly stink face like, did you see that? Normally you save that face for when somebody else dunks it, but he felt that dunk was so nasty he had to make the face for himself. You know what I'm saying? He had to make the face for himself. Big dunk from Obi Toppin. And these two young guys, ladies and gentlemen, Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, they're always in the play of the games because they bring the energy, Andy. They bring the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I do have an interview here from Tom Thibodeau, but it's getting kind of late and I got to get to practice. But this is, basically what Tom Thibodeau, some of the things that he said after practice about just about the team. Talked a little bit. He didn't say much. He talked a lot about Taj Gibson. In the way that Taj Gibson played. Obviously, he announced that Mitchell Robinson will play, Nerlens Noel will not play, and he talked about Taj Gibson and what Taj Gibson gives to the basketball team. Other than that, I don't know if I have anything else. I'll try to listen. We'll listen to a little bit of. Matter of fact, I'll let you take it out with Tom Thibodeau. Right? Take it out with Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get it up here. This is Tom Thibodeau talking about last night's basketball game, and hopefully the Knicks are going to be able to just keep it going. I guess that's all we can ask. Just keep it going. Don't just keep it going. This is Tom Thibodeau. Here we go.
Can you get any update on Mitch and Nerlens' condition?
Mitch is good. Nerlens will be out tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Do you expect Mitch to play?
Yes.
Went back and looked at yesterday. What one?
Well, I'd say just the way we shared the ball, and then the commitment we made to be connected defensively. Those two things, and it's one game, and then we got to come back and do it again. We got to keep improving. So did a lot of good things, but there's some things that obviously we have to do better.
But all we have to do about the guys that started, the new guys that step offensively. Is that what you really love to see in the 10-point fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think you want to play your best in the fourth. So the intensity is different. You have to bring more intensity, and then you have to execute. So compete and be tied together on both sides of the ball.
Tom, RJ had a couple of shooting slumps last year as well. Do you like kind of the confidence in him in the fourth quarter that as he hadn't been shooting well for really 4 games that he stepped into?
Yeah, and I think Taj made like 3 really good plays to him. And I like that he ran the floor late and got a layup. Sometimes that's all it takes. And I think his experience has taught him how to work through things. Every player is going to go through different stretches where there's stretches where they shoot it great, and then there's other stretches where they don't shoot it as well. And you have to be able to navigate through that. And there's a lot of other things that you can do to help the team win. And so do those things. And oftentimes when you get lost in that, that's when your rhythm comes back. So just make the right plays, make winning plays.
And you like that in his work ethic that you don't see in Weaver?
Yeah, and he's got a really good demeanor. He doesn't get too high when things are going great. He doesn't get too low if they're not going his way. He has a lot of mental toughness, which I think is important.
With Evan, where is he at? Confidence wise.
I think to me, it's like he knows who he is. He's played a long time in this league, so. Again, he's got to catch his rhythm. He made a number of good plays. I thought that the way he was coming off on the pick and rolls, the way he was coming off screens, he'll find his way through this.
It's nice when you have a backcourt tandem on the bench like Rose and Quickly, where if the other guys aren't hot, you can kind of go with whichever pairing.
Yeah, and throw Alec in there as well, and they can play multiple positions, so you can mix and match as you're going down the stretch or whatever you might need. And they all have the ability to go off the dribble, so that helps.
Is it so different? Quickly did on defense than press.
What he did?
Yeah.
He's an underrated defender. He's a good competitor, so he reads things well. He'll fly around. His team defense has been very good. He studies, he prepares himself well. I think knowledge of the league now is vastly improved from where it was last year, just having gone through the games and just the way he approaches it. He puts a lot of time into it.
Is this a different kind of roster makeup and rotation than you're used to? I mean, when you only have 2 players averaging over 30 minutes a game and you seem to be mixing a lot more than you're used to.
Well, I think it's the strength of the team, to be honest with you. I think that you have 10 guys, and you probably could go further than that are all capable, and there's not a big difference. And you make a case that the guys on the bench could be starting, and that's the great value of having that type of bench. And in Derek's case, he's been a starter. Taj has been a starter. Alec has started a bunch of games. Quickly and Obi are two young guys that are getting better and better. So their upside is huge. Each day they get better. And so I love the way the bench is played. And I know we have a lot of versatility with our starters as well, and we can mix and match with those guys also.
Tommy, I know you said Nerlens is out, but do you have a kind of a better grasp on how long this is going to be for him?
I don't. I think you just got to let him work his way through it. When he's ready to go, I trust him. When he's ready to go, he'll go.
You have two opponents coming up that are kind of in rebuilding modes. What's the message with the team in terms of being voted? I mean, Orlando came in last time and beat you guys. What's the message?
Yeah, no, you just you hit on it. It's like the thing is, you can't get to the NBA without being a great player. So everyone in this league is capable of beating you. So we have to come in, and we've already seen how Orlando is capable. They have a lot of talent, and they play hard, and we're going to have to be ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tom Thibodeau, and you see on the screen it popped up. It said Kemba's homecoming. You can go check out that video and Emmanuel Quickly's press conference from last night on the New York Knicks YouTube page, youtube.com/Knicks. And I'll make sure I put that in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Also tonight at 8:30, check out the Queen's Court as Steph and the panel breaks down the previous week of the New York Knicks and takes a look ahead at some of the upcoming games. So make sure you check that out tonight at 8:30. And then after the Queen's Court, about 10 o'clock, Still Knicks fans on their channel will have a recap prediction show. So make sure you check both of those out, ladies and gentlemen. I actually pinned the links to the top of the YouTube chat so you can check that out. Andy, anything you heard from Tom Thibodeau or any last words to close this thing out?
Tim, let's cross our fingers, and hope for this stretch to be like a sweet honeymoon before the stretch that with those hard games that's coming. Let's hope we can turn around the MSG record to a winnable situation from, I think we're 3-4 at this moment, something like that. So let's turn it around for a positive record and go into that stretch on a wave. I think that's important, and I think that this team really feeds off of this. If they believe they can win versus anyone, I think they're in a way better situation than trying to catch up with someone or just gain in the standings and try to rise in the standings. I think if they are on a roll, I think it's way better for them.
I agree with you. Way better for them, especially with the way Knicks fans will get on you. You know what I mean? Like, Knicks fans can help you. They can pick you up and help you stay up. But then when you're down, instead of picking you up, they might just kick you. That happens that way, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when you play in New York. But the Knicks have a chance to, like you said, get that winning record at home, have some confidence going into this tough stretch. Chicago, when they, play Chicago, they're going to be looking for revenge. So the Knicks they have a chance to build some cushion, go 10-6 after these next few games if they can win them, and then, step into that 5-game stretch. And if we can pull out 2 of those games, I think we'd be looking pretty good. Maybe we get 3. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Thanks for putting up with the edits that you're gonna, we got to edit it because I made a little bit of a technical error. I appreciate you. We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. Don't forget to check out the Queen's Court and Still Knicks fans tonight. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.